The genius of Resident Evil 4 is not in how much Shinji Mikami does, but in how little. Consider the minimalist plot, with all of the story elements reduced to their bare essential qualities, so that we can focus more on the study of character rather than some philosophical investigation with moral messages. The hero, Leon, is dropped into a remote, desolate world that gives you nothing but dread for the rest of the game. There's never a moment where you don't feel overmatched and you don't feel inconsequential. His exposition is very telling. We certainly believe him when he refers to the incident in Raccoon City in Resident Evil 2 as a, quote, horrific incident. Even if you've never played the game, you can look at his eyes and hear it in his voice that yes, he was in hell and he survived, but he doesn't want to tell you much about it. You can see that he's lost something or someone along the way, and that he was chosen for this mission and this game specifically for his knack of survival, which is the name of the game. It is very much a survival horror game. It is oftentimes given too much credit for reinventing the action genre. The real integrity of the design of Resident Evil 4 was to take the godfather of horror games and flip the series on its head by completely innovating and changing all of the core mechanics that made the series a success for no reason at all, just because they wanted something fresh. And this process took 5 years, from 1999 to 2004, so long that the teams went through so many changes they had to split up the development projects, and they ended up making the Devil May Cry series, a very little known series. And by the time 2005 rolled around, Resident Evil 4 was released alongside of Devil May Cry 3, the two greatest games ever made. But Leon and the story of Resident Evil 4 are vastly underrated. Consider how little we really know about him. He isn't very happy. He seems to be fortune's fool. But very much like Bruce Willis' character in Unbreakable, he seems to be able to survive anything. His only kryptonite would be his luck with women. At its core, the plot revolves terrorism, religious terrorism. And to me, that's nothing more than a story about the modern world and a very recent post 9/11. Deeper than that, it's Leon's struggle against the nightmare. A nightmare that he had to relive all over again, an even more outlandish nightmare than he had received before. I always thought that Leon was aptly named, being called Leon Scott Kennedy, because of all the misfortunes that befell the Kennedy family. But Leon has a dark and mysterious and troubling past, and he's the perfect character against the backdrop of the nightmare, the outlandish world of Resident Evil 4. He's definitely someone with survivor's guilt, who can't come to grips with his past, but who fights for it anyway, like we all do when we see that our world grows worse over time. For him to be able to confront multiple people from his past, including the woman that he loved, that he thought he lost, and a former comrade that is revealed to be one of the crucial components of Leon's stay in hell in Resident Evil 4. He confronts his past and makes amends in the areas which he can. At the end, his survival is improbable, and it's not something that even he would cheer for. He's just glad that it's over. And he's the greatest hero in the history of the game, because he survives the nightmare, and he saves the girl, and he saves the world, and he saves the day, all in one day, mind you. And he doesn't get the girl, but it's not because of a lack of trying. He respectfully turns down the president's daughter, for obvious reasons. Another reason that he is the greatest hero, because he has to deal with Ashley. He's not a man that we know much about, nor do we care to know. He's just simply a man that things happen to. And as we control Leon, we get the finest gameplay that's ever been. And we get one of the most unique horror settings ever imagined. The atmosphere is what Resident Evil 4 is all about. It's truly a game about evil. A game about opportunism. And a game about the struggle to fight for what's right in the face of adversity. And even with the great risk of repeating past mistakes and creating future failures that just seem to be part of life's plan.